Hello, all out there. Just give me a few more minutes. I'm just gonna last minute setups. Okay, just getting this all there. Testing, testing. Testing. Okay, perfect. I wanted to have this little bug playing on the background with the lip sync, just as I did before, like a live lip sync playback. Not playback, live lip sync. Just let me get this ready. Let's see. Okay, let me see if testing. Cool. Okay, that's done. I'm just gonna have this guy playing on. Let's see, we're in a good spot for him. Over here, I guess. Maybe here. Oops. A little smaller. Stick it over here. I don't know. Okay, let me start it. I'm hoping my computer doesn't crash. He might disappear as the windows overlap. Testing, testing. Stopped working again. Testing, testing. I may not have enough RAM for this. Testing, testing. Oh, there it goes again. Okay. So this guy's gonna play in the background. I should have enough RAM, but this time I have like 3 different instances of Houdini open. So it's a little bit more than the last test I did on the last live stream when I was testing this lip sync real-time playback. So let's see how it goes. Okay. So today will be the first episode kickstarting my new mini series on lip sync in Houdini. So this is like a procedural way of doing lip sync in Houdini. At the beginning, I didn't even know Houdini had like voice tools for lip sync. So this was like a total surprise for me. I was looking into other tools, other applications, how to do like text to speech or even facial mocap, which I'm still looking into. I'm looking into a different way of using webcam to capture your facial expressions on your face without any like extra tools other than the webcam, and transfer those facial expressions onto a character with Blendshapes. That is something I'm still working on. It's all going to be, that is a separate project. It's working in parallel. I'm still learning some OpenCV and all that stuff. I am thinking. Okay, good. The window stays up. Alright, so today's topic will be on facial deformer. So I'm going to be introducing my custom-made facial deformer HDA, which will help you get characters like this lip sync. Now, this one you see over here playing real time with this ladybug over here. This one is a more simplified version of the HDA. This one only has like, I think about 10 phenom values configured into it, so it plays back a lot faster. In the newer version of the HDA I will be introducing today, it has 41 values configured into it. And what the phenom values are is like In English, so you have your A, E, I, O, U. You have your basic vowels. Each syllable, each word. Actually, let me pull this up. Each word, each English word is comprised, is made up of different phonem values, different syllables. I'm gonna pull up this chart. So Houdini, inside Houdini, they have this nice little chart of words that I used as a reference. So there's like 41 of these over here. The first one is a silence. So that's just like nothing. That's like just silence. These 41 words, which I've been using as a reference to build my phonem value, to build my phonem library. What this does is that Houdini will take these words, you recorded it in your own voice, and then Houdini will look at that library, that sample data that you put in, the sample audio file that you put in that has the recording of these words, and it'll try to recognize these words in another separate files. For example, this audio file would be just to build this library. Then you would have something like your speech, like what I'm saying, like what I'm, like the recording that you're not recording, the sound that you're hearing right now from this video, it's live. So it would detect these phonem values in this sample data. And it'll try to recognize, it'll say like, okay, I hear the fool, the ooh in the fool word. And then it's going to trigger something in Houdini. And that's going to trigger a value in chops. And chops, then you take that chops trigger value, export it into SOPs. And what SOPs will have, you'll have all these like different blend shapes going on. Let me show you something that's already made, because today I'm gonna demonstrate how to make your own using my tools. So you're gonna have something like this. These are different blend values of the lip shaped in different mouth shapes, and each mouth shape will be triggered by these different phonem values. The one you see playing in the corner with this ladybug is a very simplified version with only about 10 phonem values. That's why it plays back a lot faster. Something I can do during a live stream. I tried playing the full 41 phonem value one, like the full one that I did, and it's too laggy. It's the latency is too much. Okay, so today that's okay. Now to use my HDA, I created this reference page so you can know what lip landmarks that you'll need to know. This is like a very simplified version of the mouth shape or your lip shape, and these are the landmarks that I refer to. So you can use this sort of like as a reference page or like a dictionary to look up stuff. What is the upper center? What is that? That's like this spot. That's the upper lip of your mouth in the middle. Things that you need to know is like mouth upper left middle 1. So mouth lower left middle 1. The 1 is always closer to the corner over here. So this is 1, this is 1. 2 is the one that goes closer to the center. And that's what I do for the right hand side as well. Mouth upper right middle 2. Mouth lower right middle 2. This one is closer to the center. So the 1 is always closer to the corner of the mouth. So that's some of the things that you need to know. And we'll get into this in just a bit. So first of all, let me just close this. I think you get the point. Okay, let's see who's here. Gaiju. Sorry, I'm not the greatest with pronouncing names. I do try. Harry. And Yeah, I'm stumped with this. I don't know how to pronounce this. Sorry about that. Okay, let's start with this. So the facial deformer HDA will be available for both Perk 1 and Perk 2 members of the bubblepins. I will put it in the same page that I just showed you over here. So this link will get updated after the stream. And right now, this page only has a bunch of screenshots. I am going to fill it with more detail in the next couple of days. So let's start with today, like right now, I'm going to show you how to use it first. First of all, HDA. First of all, you'll need to install it. So this is a brand new, right now in this HIF file, this is just the mouth shape. So I don't know if you want me to include this. I might as well just throw it in. All it has is just the words connected to the mouth shape on here is what I use to create this screenshot over here. I might as well just throw this in as part of the HIF file. And the chops here is the chop setup where Houdini has the Phenom library, where I build the Phenom library and have Houdini recognize your voice and recognize each syllable in the English word, triggering the different mouth shapes. We're not going to discuss how to set this up today. That will be the next one. Today was first we need to get the blend shapes in. You need to have the mouth shapes before you can connect it with the chops network, with the voice recognition chops network. So first we're gonna get the blend shapes today, and then the next episode will be on how to set up the chops. So as you can see here, all I have is this object merge, which is pulling in the chops data over here. So we're gonna have this all connected up later on, as we go in here. So this is just an object merge coming from hooking this guy up. It's just easier rather than like dragging this all the way down as your network gets really, really long. I just don't like crisscrossing the lines too much. So you can always put an object merge and it goes like ... means go up one level outside of this node searching for this audio channel. So that's why it has a audio channel right here. So the first character let's install the HDA first. Now, if you come to here, assets, and then go install asset library, then click this button over here to find your HDA, which is the one that you're going to download from this website. After the live stream is over, I'm going to update this download link. It'll be a few hours after the live stream. I do have to put my little notes in and clean it up a bit. So I have it here. Drag out all these. So you're going to take all of them, except install. And after you have that installed, come inside. So right now we're in the object level. Go into the geometry level. Hit tab, type facial, and it should list all my HDA nodes. These two are the main nodes that we're going to be working with, and I'm going to show you how to use. The other ones over here are like helper functions, or like helper HDA nodes. I use the first 4 of these to help me create the last 2 of these. So it's like helper nodes. And I will show you how to create your own facial deform or blend shape, sort of to create your own ones, because you may not be satisfied with the mouse shapes that I have pre-configured. So you might want to make your own. And I'll show you how to do that using these helper nodes that I created too. So let's start off with, let me take a look at my notes. Okay. facial venom lip. Let's start with this guy. So if you have any questions, just shoot them into the comments and I'll get to them as fast as possible. So it's as soon as I see it. And I check the comments every so often during the stream. So it's nice to get your comments in early. Then I can, I have a better response time to answer your question. So we start off with this guy. This is one of the custom made facial deformer HDAs I have. So it's asking for a mesh to deform. So we need a character. You need something, a character with a mouth bag. So it's not just any character. For example, if you put in the rubber toy, it's not going to work because the mouth, I'm just going to come here. So you can see here, his mouth is closed. It's watertight. There is no mouth bag. So there's no way of making him open up his mouth. You need a character where you can successfully open and close the mouth. So this is not going to work out. You can use as a test. I find that the pig head is really nice because the pig has a mouth bag. So this makes it possible to use as a test if you're just doing a test. And I'm also going to make Oliver available for everyone. So I'm just going to copy him over. So Oliver is a teddy bear that I sculpted in ZBrush a long time ago. And I've been reusing this character a lot. So I have the rights to distribute this guy. And this guy, you can use him as a reference just to like as a practice run if you ever want it. He's lightweight and the only downside is that his limbs, he has disproportional limbs, which is actually perfect if you're doing the worst case scenario to test your node, to stress test your code, or to stress test your node, your scene file. So this is a character that's great for doing that, but it's probably not the best to like proof test stuff. For this, in this case, it works out pretty good just because his mouth is a pretty simple shaped mouth. So nothing too special, and he has a mouth bag. So we're going to be using this character today, and I will be distributing him for all the members. So let's hook this up. Let's see. He contains, so right off the bat, when you use Fbx Character Import, so you go here, Fbx Character Import, you can choose the file. Here, let's just do this. So that's this guy over here. That's this file. It's an Fbx file. We import it in. You're going to find that the Fbx kind of packs the data. So if we look over here, let me go to here. There's only 1 point. But there's obviously this has more than 1 point. This is a lot of points. But you won't be able to see it. Even if I turn this on, you won't be able to see the points just because everything's packed. So the Fbx Character Import node kind of packs all the data into it. What you need to do if you want to bring it all out is just unpack it. Oops. There you go. So you get all that nice data out. Let's look at how many points he has. He has 26,843 points to work with. Okay, now we're going to hook him up. So this is the character we're going to deform. I'm just going to close this up to 1. We're going to need the 2 split screen later on. But for now, let's just get that. Okay, let's hook this up over here and let's take a look at what my HDA has to offer. I'm just going to move this out. So we're going to focus on this for now. Okay, so this facial venom lip shapes HDA node. Now, what I have here. I'm just going to go over this in just 1 second, this upper part. Let's handle what this is the information I need you to input into the HDA. This part tells my HDA what where the lip is on the mesh, what points are related to the mesh, to the lip. And as you can see, sorry about that, the label got cut off here. I don't know how to make this label longer, but if you hover your mouse over here, a tooltip will pop up with the entire label printed out. It's always, and to make your life a little easier, it's always 1, 2. So you can see that. This is mouth upper left middle, and it's always 1 is on the top, 2. And it's like the same thing here. 1, and this is 2. So this is 1 and 2. So I keep that format throughout this. Let me pull up that diagram. Okay. So this is mouth upper left middle 1, which is referring to mouth upper left middle 1. This one over here. This. Okay, maybe this is better. So this, I'm looking for this lip landmark. I need you to tell me where this is on the model. So if you come over here and you click this little arrow and just pick that point on the lip. So it's around somewhere here. So this is the left corner of the lip. This is the left corner of the lip. This is the mouth center. So the middle 1, which is closer to the corner of the mouth. 2 is closer to the middle, the center. So we're doing mouth upper left middle 1. So I want you to tell me this spot on the lip. It's around here. So after you click it, it turns yellow. I don't know if you can see that. After you click it, it turns, your selected point turns yellow. Keep the mouse hovering over the 3D viewport, then press enter. And then you can see that your selection gets entered into this landmark, or in this parameter, sorry. I've also added, so some of you have probably already know that from the last sneak peek that I did in the last live stream. What I have added as an improvement to the HDA is that this, the second output, which allows you to see the color of the landmark. So this is a nice way to debug what you're doing. So once you click that, now we don't see anything here. There's no color. Oliver turns white. That's because you have to choose the group of landmarks. So let me bring that picture over again. That brings us to these 3 screenshots down here. So I have landmarks. Basically, what I'm trying to do is color every single landmark on the lip, on your deforming mesh, on the mesh that you feed it into, on your mesh. And I'm trying to give you a visual feedback of your lip, of what you've entered. The problem is that these colors start overlapping because there's too many landmarks in there, and the color starts blending to the landmark next to it because it's too close. So I had to separate it into 3 groups. So landmark 0, 1, and 2. And the reason, the one that we fed into it was the mouth upper left middle 1. So that's on landmark group number 1. And as you can see over here, we have landmark group number 0 selected. So let's just select 1. Okay, so now you see that Oliver turns bluish over here, and it turns yellow over here. That's because we have, okay, let's take a look. Yellow is landmark number 1. Yellow represents upper right middle 1. Upper right middle 1. Upper right middle 1 is over here. So this is defaulting to point number 0. So I'm guessing the point number 0 is somewhere near his ear. I may update this this HDA actually to default the value to -1. Then I think that won't appear. So this won't happen. It won't just start coloring the 0, 1. Let me actually try. Let's see, -1. let's see. Negative, this is upper right middle 1. It is turning dark. Let me see. I think there's multiple colors in here. Yeah. There's multiple colors overlapping the 0 because they're all 0 to begin with. So I might do like a -1 as a default value because there is no point number starting at -1. Yeah, okay. I will make that change later on. So the blue here is where we have our first landmark point. So you had to fill in all of them though before we can get started. So mouth lower left, let's see. Let's do the next one. Mouth upper left middle 2. So I'm not going to do all of it, but I will do one more. Mouth upper left middle 2. Let's see. Mouth upper left middle 2. So that's over here. You can actually just like mouth upper. So it's in the upper side and then it's the left. So the left is this on left lip over here. And the middle 2. Middle 2 is closer to the center, so you know it's over here. So you really don't have to like look back at this unless you like it's here for reference if you really need it. And I also made a really long note over here so you know which one, what color represents what. I would have put this image right smack over here if I could, but I don't know how to place, like, put images inside a parameter interface. Let's see. Let's choose that. Let's go over. Let's here somewhere. Okay, there's the second one. Right. So it's not showing. Why isn't it showing? Why can't I see the mouth upper left middle 2? That's because that's on a different landmark group. Just because 1 and 2 is just too close to each other, so that's why I needed to put it into a different group. So let's go to 2. Now it's the same color too, so that is a little bit misleading. So 2 and 1. You can see it does change. Okay, so I'm not going to do all of this. I did this ahead of time. So what I'm going to do, this is what I have set up ahead of time. So I'm just going to copy these points over to the setup that we have right now. That will make it a little easier. Oh, okay. Let me just do this. Split screen it. Okay. Check the notes. Hey, Jojo. Hey. Okay, let's go. So it's really nice that once you have it set up, you can just copy these numbers over. I'm going to come up with another HDA to easily copy it over, but for now, you're going to have to enter it manually like this. It only takes 2 seconds. Maybe because I'm used to it though. 22963, 21163, 21286, 21829, 22034, 224. 22424 2424. Okay. 24017. It's loading. Okay. 22036 20629. Okay. Okay, so that's done. All right, now we have it all configured. Now there's another thing that you need to know is this. Let's go back to the deforming radius. So let's take a look at what happens first. Let's just play it. I have the vowels here. So let's just test this out. Let's test out the open and close. Let's see what happens. Just give it a bit. Okay, let's try the... Oh, sorry. I'm on the wrong node. So this second node only gives you the color feedback. This is the node over here. Let me color landmarks. This is the actual deformation. Okay, so this is the actual deformation. Let's come over here. Okay, it's cooking, Okay, starting to open his mouth. Let me do the open and close. Okay, you can see he closes his mouth all the way. So this may not be what you want because he doesn't open his mouth. This is where I need you to tell me, is the character, does the character have his mouth, or his or her character have the mouth closed in the rest position to begin with? Is it closed at the beginning? So this, I know he has this little gap here. It's just easier to sculpt it with that little mouth bite gap there. But I would consider this as closed, because I don't consider this as open. So I consider this to be closed. So this is the rest position of Oliver. And I would consider that position as closed. So I would check this. I would enable this because it is closed to begin with. And what that does, it will tell the HDA to, when you have this slider to the end, it will open the mouth instead of closing it. So if we go here, give it a second. Okay, so there. His mouth is a lot more open than it was before. Let me put 0 here. You can actually go beyond the 1. So if you want a wider mouth open, then you can do that. Now, why would I have this this option here? That's because some of the characters, like, just give me a second. I'm just gonna grab the ladybug character. I just want to show you that some of the characters do have the mouth closed to begin with. For example, this one. This character has the mouth absolutely closed, and this is what it is, the rest position. Some characters have the mouth open to begin with. It depends how you sculpt it. Let's see. The test pig, I believe his mouth is open to begin with. Yeah, so this I would consider as an open mouth because this does not look like it's closed. So if you're trying to feed this mesh to deform using my HD8 tools, you would not check this button because this is not closed at rest position. So that's how you use that option over there. Now, when I had this open and I was like, okay, that's not a very wide opening, right? I want his mouth to open even further. So that's where this deformation scale parameter comes in handy. This is how much percentage of my pre-configured lip value to take. So I have this lip shape already pre-configured into the HDA. Now, how much of it do you want to take? For example, if you have a smile that, like a really large smile on pre-configured, how much of that smile do you want to take? 50% of it? Or maybe just a smaller smile, or maybe twice as much as what I had? Now, why would you need this? Why not just take whatever is pre-configured? If you have a smile, then just smile. Well, it doesn't, a lot of characters are different. The mouth shapes, the facial features, some characters may have a longer face, a more narrow face, a more stretchy face, cartoony style face, and you need to adjust it in order to make the tool a little more flexible to fit multiple variety of different meshes. I offer these two, Deforming Radius and Deforming Scale, and so you can tweak a little bit. Now, this Deforming Scale is just how much do you want to take of what of the pre-configured lip shape. So I want more of it. So you can keep going. So that's what this is. Now that is different from this Deforming Radius. Now that's where I want to show you the landmarks. Each color here represents a lip landmark that we specified over here, a point on the lip value, like a point on the lip value here, a landmark on the lip. And you can see that the color goes beyond there as well. So let's lower this value and let's see what happens. It's gonna cook. Okay, I'm gonna type it in. Okay, you can see that I've reduced it to 0.1. So the default is 1. So that's a Houdini unit of 1. Now it's a Houdini unit 0.1. Depending on the size of your model, you want to adjust this however you want, like however you like. You can see that the landmarks have been reduced to a little dot now. So this will be when the mouth shape moves, that's how much this landmark will move. It won't move beyond this coloring. So that's not much. Now to make this a little more easier to configure, because you might, like, if you don't want to go back and forth like here and have it cook and then go crumble and then come back here again to look at the landmark and then come here and then adjust it like that again. Like, that's quite tedious to go jump back and forth. So I have this option here, deform the colors. What this will do, it will apply this deformation onto here with the colors. So let's check this. Oh, I might have forgot to... Okay, I might have a bug. I think I forgot to hook that up. Let's take a look. I'm going to debug this live. Now, I have everything hooked into this one thing. I did. Oh, I forgot to update this one. Okay, so let me see if I can show you on a different one. But we need the chops for that. Okay, so we'll come back to this. I think I have a little bug in here. I will fix that after the live stream. Okay. So for now, we do have to jump around a bit. Just for now, I will fix that. So let's put 0.5 because I want him to have a smoother deformation on the lips. So here. So that's how you can use these two parameters to tweak the HDA to fit your model. Ash. Jojo, man, so unfortunate. I am too tired. Just came from 8 hours fishing trip. Oh wow, 8 hours. I have to rewatch it. Yeah, no problem. The replay is always available. Cool. All right. Let's see. Okay, so let me go on and show you the other one. So this HDA here, let me color it. Okay, so this HD here exposes the A-E-I-O-U, sort of like the basic vowels and consonants of the English language. You can use these parameter values and you can hook it up to, you can keyframe it, you can do whatever you want with it. And you can hook it up to the chops, but I will show you the next HDA tool that I have configured. Not configured, I have pre-made that will do all the chops hooking up for you to make your life a little easier. This one, give me 1 second as it loads. Okay. I'm just gonna get a glass of water. This one loads a lot longer just because it has all 41 phenom values pre-configured. So let's look inside. I'll show you what I mean. This is what I set up for all 41 values. And that's let me just show you. That's this guy. Sorry. This. That's these words. So I have a different lip shape for every single syllable you see listed on here. I was using this as my main reference. Let's go back to Oliver, and that's all pre-configured inside this node. So the theory is that if you want something talking with lip values moving a more artistic, a more realistic looking speech animation, you can just plug it into this, and you don't have to like sculpt your own blend shapes. This will do it for you. So let's hook it up. The first input is looking for the mesh to deform. That's your character. And the second one is looking for the chops. So as I said before, the chops is what Houdini uses to recognize your voice and the syllables in your voice. And that's how it makes it talk. First, it goes through your sample file. So you feed a sample audio file to Houdini that you want Houdini to recognize all the symbols, translate that to values. Like, give me a value. When do you see when Houdini hears the beat out of that, your whole speech, it will trigger a 1 value in the audio channel. And I'm going to detect that 1 value, and I'm going to translate it into different blend shapes on the lip. So that's what all this HDA is doing. Now, the chops setup will be discussed in the next episode, just because I'm trying to keep the streams within a reasonable amount of time. So that'll be the next episode. But I will be releasing this HIP file for all the members, so you can get the setup and you can look at it and see how it goes. But I'm gonna show you what it's doing in the next episode. So that goes into here. That's the green one here, which is the chops setup. Let me just close this. Okay, now let's take a look at this. So I've included a really long note here. This will help you set up your Phenom library. Now, if you want Houdini to recognize your voice accurately, you're going to have to give it some sample data of your voice. So you just read this list of words, record it onto an audio file. Make sure that you save the audio file as an AIFF format. At the beginning, I tried saving it as an MP3, and Houdini just kept on crashing for me. So the MP3 might be a little too heavy. It might have, I think MP3s are 120 kilo, what is it? Kilo something? It's 120 kilosamples or something. The frequency is too high. There's too many samples in the MP3. I think that's why it's crashing. As for this AIFF, I believe I have like a 24 sample rate going on. It's super, it's very light. I'm not sure. I think it might be 44. It's not 120, definitely. So it's a lower quality audio, which runs nicely for my computer specs. So just remember, if you start setting your audio up and then you feed in the audio input and it just starts crashing, then use an AIFF. Let's see. So I've included this just for convenience. So just read this in this order. So it's important that you read it in this order, from top to bottom. So we have the same controls here as well. Deforming Radius, Deforming Scale, is the rest closed, and I have included this threshold open and close, which controls, this is very similar to the deforming scale, except this parameter only focuses on the open and close of the mouth. So sometimes you may want the character to have the mouth wide open or really slightly open. So this would just give you a little bit more control and flexibility. I'm gonna copy over the values I have over here onto my parameters. Two, 363, 23964, 23140, 22963, 21163, 21286, 21829, 22034, 22424, 24017. Okay, it's just cooking. 22036. Give it a second. 20629. Okay. So hopefully in the future, I'm going to come up with a better way to transfer this information from one node to another rather than typing it over and over. That way you don't have to like reselect the landmark points over and over and over. Now let's just do it. Let's look at the colors of the landmarks just to prove sanity check. Okay, so we have that. That looks okay. Okay, landmark 0, landmark 1. So landmark 1, so this is 0, all main positions of the mouth, and then landmark 1 is the middle ones. So that's this, and 2. Okay, another good way of using this landmarks to debug is sometimes when you're selecting. Let me show you. If I select something like here, that's like wide, like super in the wrong direction, inside the mouth bag by accident. So that dot is in there. I have that entered in. And you won't know. But if you use the colored landmarks, that's something that you can proofread quite easily. So there's 2, 1. Oh, I think the radius is too large. But if you look carefully, you can see that. Oh, here. Let me lower down the radius. Okay, let me do this. 0.2. Let's go like that. Okay, there you go. So that's a little easier. So the colors don't overlap as much. Let's go over. So I purposely made an error. You can see that the blue is inside the mouth bag. So this is a way how you can use this colored landmarks to debug, to sort of verify and check that you have these lip landmarks entered correctly. So you can see that the blue is inside there. So you know that it's not gonna, there's something wrong with it. Now let me undo that. Okay, there we go. See? We fixed the blue. All right, let's see. Let's put it here and let's see. Let's give this guy a run. First, let's change the deformation back to, I don't know. What did we have before? We had 0.5. Okay, let's do 0.5. Let it cook. Okay, let's come over here. Now this is already hooked up to a random sample audio file that I have running. You're not going to hear the audio, but I'm hoping that he'll move his lips. Okay, so there it goes. It's a little slow because there's so many phenom values. So this one is a lot heavier than the one that I showed you with the ladybug that was running in real time at the beginning. That's because the ladybug only had like 8 phenom values in that setup. That made it possible to run real time. The color sizes. Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully that answers your question. So the color size actually do. It's the deformation scale. So it's how far each landmark will move. So here. In order to answer that question in a more illustrative way, that brings us to the next thing I wanted to show you. So we might as well just move on then. The mouth controls. So out of my facial deformation tools, if you're not satisfied with the mouse shapes that I've provided for you inside this facial venom for chops, you might want to do your own. You might have a really stylized character and you have extreme lip shapes. So you might want to do your own. I've also included facial mouth control and exposed the facial deformer. So this is the what actually makes it move. So these are the helper HDAs. Now this facial deformer acts very much the same way as these two, because these two, let me move this all over. These two nodes are all built using this guy over here. So that's why a lot of the parameters are very similar. So let's come over here. Again, we need to fill this in again. Let me just quickly do that. And I'll show you how you can create your own lip shapes using the tools, using the same set of tools I provide. 4, 2, 3, 1. I might just be fast at entering this just because I do it. I've been doing this a lot lately. I will come up with a way to do this more automatic. 2, 9. All right. Okay, so the first input is your character. So let's put it into the character. Okay, you know what? I should really label this more organized. Oliver Teddy. Take these guys, move it over. Okay, that's a bit more organized. Okay, the second one is asking for the mouth controls now. So we're no longer feeding in the audio channels. The audio channel is the voice recognition, is recognizing each syllable. Now we want to create our own mouth shapes. So this was pre-configured with the mouth shapes. So now I have this node here, the facial mouth control. So that's this. So this will look familiar within all the screenshots I have. And if you look in the spreadsheet, I'm just going to pull this up. Here's the dots. There is a name for each point. So you come here. I'm going to type in name just to filter it out. So you can see every point in the mouth control has a name. It has the mouth corner left, mouth upper left, middle one. So this will look familiar. These are the lip landmarks that I've been talking about. If you want it to show up on here using the visualizer, what you can do here, come to the eye to look at the information here and just click this name. So that's the name of each point. It'll automatically create the visualizer. So you can see it turns into colors. So we don't need this. Come over here. Right click this and it looks the scene. It created a new visualizer here. Edit this. Now we don't want it to be a color. We want it to be a marker and we want it to be text, and it's already set up here. You can even choose the size of the text. So large, that's going to be really large. It's going to start overlapping. So middle is medium. I find is the best, depending on your screen size though. But it will not get bigger. If you zoom in, the text is not going to get bigger. It's actually going to get it's going to try and maintain that font size, which is really annoying. I kind of want it to get bigger as I zoom in. But anyways, so that's there. If you're ever, that comes in handy for me if I ever forget what I labeled in. But anyways, drop down this mouth control. That goes into the second input of this facial deformer node. So this will allow you to create your own lip shapes. Let's make this red. Now let's take a look. Oh, this is where I need to do the split screen. So we don't really need anything here anymore. The deforming radius. Let's keep the values the same. So what was the value we used over here? Deforming radius 0.5. Okay, let's try that. 0.5. Okay, now we don't need that anymore. I'm gonna close this. Give me 1 second so I can set up my view. Okay, so this is the lip here. And this is here. So what I usually do is, if I want to see the lip and the lip and the mouth control on the same view, what I do is I merge it. Okay, so the outputs of this facial deformer are identical to this guy as well. We have the deform mesh, which is the first input, and then the colored landmarks on the second input. So let's just quickly take a look at that. The deform mesh is, well, then nothing's happening yet. So I'm going to, we'll get to that in just a second. The colored landmarks here. So this is the same thing that you see, that we saw before. What I'm going to do, so we're not going to use the colored landmarks right now. Let's get that out of the way. What I'm going to show you is viewing the deform mesh and the mouth control on the same view. So let's merge these two together. Now they're overlapping, as you can see. The mouth control is overlapping Oliver. So I want to see the mouth control side by side. So what we can do is transform Oliver, move him over a bit. Control here, enter. I'm just going to move Oliver over. Now it's important that you do not move the mouth controls. You have to transform Oliver. Now this is only for visual purposes, so this is not something you're going to be using anyways. This is only to help you set up your own mouth values. So we're going to come here and I'm going to hit F to focus on Oliver. Zoom in on his mouth. Okay, so what we can do here. Now what we're going to do, pull this up a bit. Okay, now I'm going to edit this mouth control. So let's throw down and edit. You can use a transform, but I would edit the mouth control. I know I said don't edit the mouth control, but I need to create a new mouth control. Don't edit, don't shift it around. Whatever edits you make on the mouth control will be committed, is what I'm trying to say. Don't move it around for visual purposes, because this is not something we're going to use. But this edit is something we're actually going to use. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. So I'm going to come to the edit and highlight the edit. Hover the mouse over the 3D viewport, press enter. And you'll see that you get this widget going on. Now come over to the cursor over here. Select the cursor, select the points. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the lasso because I like using the lasso over here. You can use the box select or the lasso. That's how you select the points. So I'm going to make a lasso around all the points that I want to move. And I'm going to press, you can see that they all turn yellow. All the points turn yellow. All the selected points turn yellow. And then I'm going to press E on the keyboard while the mouse is still hovering over the 3D viewport. I know it's really annoying, but that's really important. And press E. And I'm going to get this scale widget. So this is going to scale it. So hopefully you can see how handy this is. So now you can create your own blend shapes using this, using the tools that I expose. Oh, this should be red. I'm trying to label them all red. All my tools red, so you know which ones are my tools. So you might want to go, what? Whatever you want. You can modify it individually. So if you want to just modify this value over here, press enter. Oh, sorry, press T. Oh, what did I just do? Here. select this, press T, and I can move it individually. Oh, sorry. This is on the wrong place. Remember, we want to have all the edits on this. All the edits have to be committed. They have to feed into the facial deformer node for it to process and remap your mouse control onto your mesh. So everything, all the edits has to go into this node. So let's go here, select this one, and I'm going to press T. I'm going to move it, and you can see how it moves that side. So this is why we had that color. That's why someone asked the question, what do the color sizes actually do? This is what it does. It tells you how this mouth control, when you're moving this point, this landmark on the facial mouth control, how much does this movement will affect your whole character and all the points nearby it. So I'm going to keep this like that. I'm going to come over to the facial deformer, and I'm going to lower the deforming radius. That's the color. Let's bring the color back in. Oops, sorry, this one. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Someone's at the door. Just 1 second. Hi, sorry. So sorry about that. Okay, let's move on. Let's continue on. So the deforming radius, if we lower this value. Okay. Okay, awesome. So you can see that it's deforming less. You can see, let's see, let me exaggerate this a bit. Well, let's make this 1. Okay, so you can see that this mouse control is affecting the mesh more. It is changing the mesh in a different way. If we put a 0.1, so it's a lot less because the deformation scale, the radius of each landmark is a lot smaller. So we're getting these lumps. At each lump is where the landmark is. So it affects it only this small radius, only this small radius. You can see that there's a gap. It doesn't, the radius is not large enough to affect the landmarks in between, the space in between here. So you can get these lumps, these little hills on the lips. So that's what the size color is. It's how much each landmark affects the entire mesh. Sorry about that. I had to like leave for 1 second. The difficulties of live streaming. Master Houdini and Miss. Oh, thank you. All right. Let's see. Let me check my list of topics. Let's see. Deforming Radius, coloring landmarks. Yeah, I have a small bug with this checkbox over here, so I'll fix that after the live stream. Coloring landmarks, applications. Right. The coloring landmarks is really useful, in my opinion, in order to debug. Because when I was testing it on different meshes, as you can see, Oliver is not very well topologized, so it's really easy to select. If I'm coming here and I'm pre-configuring the landmarks to select a different something inside the mouth bag, to accidentally click something else and not notice. So that's where the coloring comes in really handy. Real-time feedback, right? This is what my bug is, so I need to fix this. Otherwise, once this is fixed, you can see like a real-time feedback. I think it works for this node, but the problem is it's working, but I never turned it on, so there's still a bug with this checkbox. So it was not supposed to be. I wonder what happens if we check it. Oh, I have it flipped. So yeah, I have it flipped on this node. So this only affects the second input. This only affects this second input over here. As for the deforming mesh, because we moved them a little over. Let's do this. Action, create reference copy. This will create an exact copy of this guy over here. Same node. So when I move this one, it'll move this one as well. So it's like a link node. So this is a deformed mesh. Oops, sorry. This is the deformed mesh. You can see that this node, the second input, sorry, I keep clicking the wrong node. The second input does not affect the first input. This second input here is only for debugging purposes. The first input is what you should use for your production or for your animation. Okay, the threshold open and close. Okay, let's go over that. Threshold open and close. I believe it's in this one. Back to the facial venom for chops. I really should add this parameter to the rest of the nodes. I think it's only in that one. It's only in this. So I will add this parameter into the rest of them as well. Okay, but let me show you what it does in here. What we need to do is I need to align this. Okay. Now, I have a cheat way to overwrite the audio input that's coming in. Is here. Because the audio input coming in, let me grab the spreadsheet. Details. Here. Should be in the details. So so equals. Okay, let's just do something like. Oops. Silence. It should be taking it. Or not. So this set of tools was created quite quickly. So I do have a lot of bugs around. Okay. Open, close. No, what? Lip shapes. It should. Let me take a look at the phenom value. I might have changed the name of the phenom value. Chops comes here. Here. What did I change the phenom silence value as? I exported it. Oh, okay. You have to link it like that. I will make this a little easier. You have to manually link this. And I have it at capitals. Capital cell channel. Okay. Let me do this. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to overwrite the silence. So let's take this parameter. Copy. Let's go over here. Go into my chop setup. And I'm telling the chops to export the silence channel directly to that node. Oh, what is it doing? It's not taking it. Oh, it's probably... Okay, let's manually select it. Lip sync. I didn't label it properly. Attribute wrangle. That's this one. I should give it a better name. And then we called this silence. So this would be silence. So I'm telling it to input it directly. It turns yellow automatically. Hopefully this will get it going. Or I might have another bug in there with the silence. Oh, there it goes. Okay, let's see. Okay. Sorry, just give me 1 second. Open mouth, close. Controls. I want to overwrite it. Silence channel. Oh, I called it silence. Sorry. That's why I can't overwrite it. Okay, let's take this out. Let's overwrite it another way. Silence. Oh, threshold. Threshold. It's closed by default. Nope, I have something broken in here somehow. Silence. So that's another thing I need to fix up. Okay. Oh, a lot of stuff broke. Okay, so the audio, I can't overwrite the audio channel right now. Let's see what I have. Let's move on. Also can do a single open close. Oh, okay. This, I have to demonstrate this in the later episode, just because I think the open and close is broken. Customize your own lips, demo how the controllers, right. So I've shown you how you can create your own mouth shapes using the subtools that I've exposed out like this. So you can use these controls. And what you do, or what I was doing, the only difference between this node and this tool here is that this tool has I've done this setup 41 times. One for each phenom value, one for each syllable. And then all I have is everything is hooked up into a blend shape. So let me actually show you. So these are only for visual purposes. So let's move these aside. So we have our original Teddy. That's over here. Okay, this is getting messy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do object merge, and I'm going to merge over that Teddy. Oliver Teddy, we called it. Which is just... This node is just this one. It's just bringing this guy over here, so I don't have to crisscross so much. So if we come here, it's just Oliver over here. Now I'm going to blend it in with the facial deformation that we have set up over here. This, I don't know, he might be having a toothache. So, and these tools can also be used for other purposes, like other animations, like if you wanted to make an animation of Oliver going to the dentist, this could be another one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down a blend shape. And what it'll blend is Oliver's original resting position to this toothache that we've created with this mouth control. Oliver here, toothache over here, go into the blend shape. And what this does here, let's give this another name. So I'm just gonna bypass it here. Okay. Oops, what am I doing? Here. Okay. Once you get into the blend shape, it automatically detects this input over here, and once you can like drag it over. Oh, is this different? 26843. 26843. Oh. Oh, I think it's because I accidentally clicked something. Sorry, let me do this. The problem with the blend shape node is that it caches a lot. So at the beginning, I had accidentally connected all three of these nodes together. Just do it, like, if you ever get an error and you're not sure what's going on, just delete it and just drop down another one. So let's try it again. Okay, so the error goes away. Let's see. Okay, see? It blends nicely. Because this node caches stuff. So once you hook something in, it starts caching right away. A good thing I love about this blend shape node is that you can go here and update channel names from input. So that's why I needed to give it a proper name over here. It'll take this name. So let's give this another name. Let's go Oliver. So here, click this. So you can, Oliver's the first node connected. Here. So Oliver's the first node connected here. So that's why it's renaming the blend shape to Oliver. But this is the first input. So the first input will never change. That is your resting position that you're going to merge from. Toothache is the one that we're trying to merge, morph him into. So he starts out normal. This is before going to the dentist, and after he goes to the dentist. Oh. Okay, that's better. So you can keyframe this. So what you can do is like put a keyframe here, and then I don't know, put a keyframe over here, put it to 1, keyframe this, and when you play the feedback, you can get that. Or something even easier. What I like to do a lot is just put a sine wave. That. So you get that. Let's speed it up. the sine wave goes into the negative. So that's another thing you need to know about the blending values. You can go into the negative, and what the negative values do, it goes into the opposite direction. So let's try this. Grab this and we're gonna drag it to the negative. So it goes the other way around. So if you are using the sine wave, so this, you know that the sine wave goes up and down. When it goes down, it'll start hitting the negative areas. Just throw down an absolute function wrapping around this. What that will do, it always gives you the positive value of anything you put inside the parentheses. So you can have that as part of your animation. Just take a look at this. Oh wow, you made it. Awesome. Yeah, this is becoming a much longer live stream than I originally planned. I thought I would go over this in less than an hour. But I'm only halfway through. So I did go over all this stuff. Custom make your own blend shapes using some of my helper HDA tools. There is something I want to mention about building your own Phenom library. And what I did to build the Phenom library through this facial deformer. Now, it's not completely accurate. Not every single not every single value here is configured exactly accurate. The reason behind that is I found like most of the language, the English language, is made up of your vowels A, E, I, O, U. And that wasn't enough mouth shapes to make a realistically looking, it wasn't enough mouth shapes, variety in the mouth shapes to make a satisfying looking speech or look like Oliver was talking. It wasn't convincing enough. So what I did, the reason behind that is because once you have something like, let me pick a example. Dime and time. Exactly, yeah. Dime and time. So that's the same vowel. That's just the I vowel. It's the A, E, A, O, U. That's the I value that you're getting in the time and the dime. And if you're only doing the 5 vowels, that's not gonna, the mouth is not gonna move when you're doing the speech, when you're gonna say, I'm on the dime, and you're gonna have a speech, you go dime time, and then the mouth is not gonna move for those 2 syllables. So that was happening throughout a lot in the speech, and it wasn't convincing enough to look like Oliver was talking. So what I did was, for every single Phenom value you see here listed here, I had moved it just a bit. For example, the dime and the time are very similar syllables. I moved the time. I have a control over here, the mouth value for the here. I moved it just slightly, just enough so it looks like he's actually talking. He's actually moving his mouth and talking. It wasn't in a lot of movement, just because the dime and time were in the same group. It's in the same mouth shape group. So that's what you see here. Oh, sorry, wrong note. This one. So that's what you see over here. That these things are on different, like, one line. They're on their own separate line. Each line here represents a similar shape, but a different Phenom value listed here as I use as a reference. And I do have it labeled. So beat and bit, the lip shape was very similar. What I did was just move it just a bit. No pun intended. Let me see if I can actually show it to you. Okay. So let's take a look at the front. Okay. This is what you get here for the bit. And this is the shape I used for gate. So it's just slightly moved. I don't know if you can see it. It's so slightly. It moved just a teeny bit. Just slightly. And then for the fat, I moved this slightly as well. So you can see it's slightly moving there. And then this one is the A value. Slightly again. So every one of them has a different movement or a different shape. And that's what I did for all 41. And the results were a lot more pleasing. It's not physically accurate. If you're going to have someone that knows how to read lips and look at Oliver, it's not going to make sense. But at least it's convincing that it looks like he's talking, is what I was trying to aim for. Now, if the ones that I have pre-configured are not something that you like, you want to create your own, you can see what I did. Keep clicking on the wrong one. This is the same setup that I just showed you. We have the mouse shape, and then I feed it into an edit, and then I use this facial deformer, which is the same setup we have over here. This setup over here with the toothache. And I just do that 41 times. So you can do the same way you have here and just hook everything up to a blend shape. And you can control your animation like this. And then in the next episode, I'll show you how you can hook the blend shape to the chops, which the chops is using voice, recognizing syllables in your voice to complete the whole lip sync workflow. Oh, I was trying to learn this 15 years ago in Maya. I had a book called Stop Staring at Me. What was that about lip sync? Let's see. It'll look more at talking. This will be used in upcoming streams, right? I mainly put in, right? Blend shapes, basic concepts. Oh, a few things about blend shapes I wanted to go over. But we're running out of time. I don't know if anyone's tired. Well, the stream has gone to an hour and a half. I try to cut it off at an hour and a half, but you know what? Let's go over blend shapes. This will be the last thing I'm going to talk about in the stream, and then I'm going to end it off. Blend shapes, blending shapes together, basically. This guy. This node only works if all the inputs have the exact same poly count. If these two are exactly the same model. Now they are, except the toothache is just deformed. The points have moved a bit. It's been displaced a bit, but there are no extra points. There's no new geometry. It is the exact same Oliver you see over here, but the mouth is like some of the points on the lips have been moved over a bit. So that's important to know. Now, you can do that with any mesh. So let's do a sphere. Let's increase this to huge amount. And I'm going to put down some mountain noise, because that's easy. And then I'm going to throw in blend shape. That's hooked up. There you go. Okay, let's screw. Okay, see? It can morph into it. Now, what happens if your poly count is different between your inputs? If you fed in a different geometry for the inputs, well, let's take a look. Let's make a copy of this. Okay, you'll have to delete the blend shape too, because it does cache. So once you put in the first time you put in the inputs in, Blendshapes starts to cache the inputs. So the second time when you start modifying this, so if I go like this, delete, it's going to keep it. See, it thinks that it's still there for this guy because it's caching it. So just delete it. I'm going to drag this down. Whoa, my computer's starting to lag. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to modify this thing to 19. So what we're going to have is this one. This sphere over here is 3,612. This one over here is 4,002. So the one on the left has a more poly count. I believe the blend shape will still work, but it's just not going to look too well. Let's exaggerate this. Let's go like 1. And let's blend shape this. And connect this together. Now let's see what happens when we blend it. So it's not going to look right. Just because they're two different geometries, completely different poly count, completely different geometry. So one way to check if you have the exact same poly count or exact same mesh fed into the blend shape is look at the poly count. Make sure the points are the same for every single input. That's a huge clue. And another thing I wanted to talk about was that blend shapes is not unique in Houdini. Blend shapes exist in a lot of different 3D applications, like Blender. In Blender, they call it shape keys. In Unreal Engine, they call it morphing targets. I don't know what they call it in Maya and 3D Studio Max. I think it's called morphing targets in Maya. Not sure. Don't quote me on that. So, and it's all the same rules too. Whether it's morphing targets, shape keys, or blend shapes, your input needs to have your inputs need to be the exact same mesh. You have to have the same poly count for every single mesh. Okay, so I'm going to go over these 3 sections in the next episode, and I'm going to... Sorry about some of the bugs in my HDA. I didn't realize I broke some stuff as I added more features in. I will fix the threshold open and close. I think that was the biggest bug I had. The other one was the deforming colors, but that was just a debugging issue. I mean, sorry, that only affects the debugging. Like this, it flipped it. It's the flip. The values flipped. And this one is not even working for the deforming, like this option here. I don't think I forgot to connect it. So that's a couple of things I have to fix up. And I'll also add this threshold parameter onto all the rest of the HDA nodes as well. Cool. It was about the whole head. Lip sync was included, but not quite like this. Awesome. I hope you find this useful. I hope people will find these tools useful. I spent a lot of time doing the 41 lips because it's very, very boring doing these lip values because it's not the most interesting thing in the world. But the results are really nice. And I like the fact that I only have to do it once and then I can use it for almost every single character. So I can start lip syncing a bunch of characters with ease. Quinn, hello. We're just about to wrap it up. You have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? I know there's a bit of a lag on the delay on the stream, so I'm just gonna wait a few minutes to see if last call for questions. And I do apologize for the long live stream again. I was aiming to finish this in an hour, but that never happened. So remember to check the blog. I will post more details on this blog, but I was hoping I got the pictures up. I wanted to get the pictures on the blog as soon as possible in case anyone wanted to use the HDA. So you could have this on your, if you have a dual screen, you can have like this on the right of your, on your second monitor, and you can have this on the tool on your other monitor, and you can look at this for reference if you ever get lost. And the landmarks are here as well. Let's see. I might have just popped in right at the end. Yep, you did, but that's okay. You can watch the replay. Replay is always good. You should do a procedural 3D modeling tutorial. I have been, it's on the list. It's on the list. I have been planning to do one. I'm actually planning to do, to restart my Patreon campaign. And I wanted to do like a workshop just to create stuff in Houdini. And put aside all of the core concepts, or utilize all our core concepts. And I want to stick all my like HDAs in, and then we can actually create something right on the fly. So the objective would be to create something fast and creative, and not worry about the details during the session, and just get everything in. And you can always fine tune, like details can always be fine tuned. You can go through iterations of it. So I think that would be super fun, and we can always port it over into UE and then destroy it live or whatever. I'm still learning UE though. It's coming together. It's coming together. I've been studying those concepts as of late. Would a lower poly ollie help? It might actually, because he is... Let me see. Where is Oliver? This is like 26,000. It would be nice if he was even lower poly count. I'll try and get this lower, but he starts to like lose some of the facial features. Like he's Oliver's gonna get even more simplified, just because this topology is not great. Look at this topology. This is just me putting a... I use ZBrush, so I use ZBrush to sculpt this, so it's Z remesher on it. It's not the greatest thing, and I think I used Decimate after the Z remesh, because I believe the Z remesh gave me something even a higher poly count, but it was a better topology. Let me see what I can do. There should be a way to like reduce this, or you know what? I can do probably maybe just cut off the head. That might be a lot more. Just because we don't need the body for lip sync. We will need it in the next episode when I combine. Actually, I was planning to do it this episode. I was gonna combine the lip sync with animation and show you how to do it, but we're really over time right now. What is your hardware, by the way? I'm running actually it's on my blog. I don't always remember time, like some of these things. I did a blog on it. I'm running an RTX 2082 RTX 2080s, which is useless now because 3090 comes out with like 24 gigs, so the 2080 is like garbage. The RTX 2080 is basically a GTX 1080. It's almost the same power with I don't know, maybe a 10% improvement, maybe 20% improvement. I don't know. That's like a rough guess. It's not a huge improvement. But I couldn't find a 1080. Like I've never owned a 1080, and I upgraded the computer last year, and my older GPU was a really, really, really old one. It was a GTX 960, I think. And it wasn't even a Titan, so that was really slow. Let's see. If you come over to, okay, ads. Yeah, this one, installing. Because it was really cool installing the Threadripper. So I put in a blog post on it. This was something I found really interesting. The way I put on the CPU paste, because the Threadripper gets really hot on the four corners, which is not the traditional heating areas of your CPU. In Intel usually heat gets really hot in the center of the CPU. For the Threadrippers, it's the corner. The corners are the hottest areas, and so the best way is to spread the CPU. So the best way. So the best way is to spread the CPU paste thoroughly around the entire CPU chip. So what I did here was I put a lot of painter's tape. I put painter's tape on the sides of the CPU, and then just use like a business card and just spread it onto the chip. Now, if you don't want a DIY solution like this, they actually sell, Corsair actually sells you something like that, like a kit to actually cover up the CPU around it with a plastic fancy cutout thing, and then acrylic sheet, and then you put it in, and then you spread it the same way. It's actually the same way. You can just buy a painter's tape for like $6 or something, and then just do the DIY way. So this is my CPU, and the GPU I have an RTX 2080. So that's my hardware. Sorry, I got sidetracked. I think I'm really tired. I'm trying out retopology. I can try it. Retopology. Oh, are you talking about the Blender add-on retopology? Or are you actually learning retopology? Because, yeah, retopology is a very, very tedious job to do. I hate retopology stuff. It reminds me of doing the 41 Phenom values. It's very repetitive and tedious. It's not something I like to do. I want to push a button and have it I'm the type of person that could create a program for I don't know, a whole week and to have it use for the rest of my life or something. To have it okay, it's automatic, it's done. But that task that I'm trying to automate probably just takes 3 hours. I would write a program for a week if that's what it takes. I like proceduralizing stuff or automating stuff. Maybe I could do a tongue too. Oh, that would be awesome. Go for it. We could do, I always wanted to do an Oliver Venom remix. That would be so cool. Oh, that would be a nice Vellum topic, actually. To do the Venom, what do you call that? The little things that start growing on the surface of his body. I don't know, the black goo. Imagine that for Oliver. That'd be awesome. When did you start learning Houdini? When did I start learning Houdini? A few years ago, actually. I began learning Houdini. I began learning Blender as my very first 3D application, just because it's free. It was a good entry level. But back then, we're talking about 2.64, I think. That UI was very hard to understand. It took me months to understand Blender's UI in 2.64. I believe that was the first one I started. I remember a long time ago. I started when I first met Blender. It was 2.16. I was utterly confused. And then 2.64, I came back to it. And I wanted to give it another shot. And it took me so long to understand the UI because I was like, that wasn't just doing that. I was also doing other stuff. And then I was looking for, and I was like doing, okay, maybe box modeling is not my thing. I was like thinking. And then I was trying to look for other options out there, and I met Houdini. I was like, you can program art? That's like right up my alley. And that's how I started with Houdini. That was a few years ago, but I did do Houdini on and off. Like I did it for a few months, and then, okay, I don't really get it. I put it on the shelf. Like I put it aside, and I didn't touch it for the longest time. And then I even didn't renew the license at that time because I was super busy, and it wasn't really there yet. The learning curve is quite up there for Houdini. You have to get used to it, and then once you understand its workflow and process, you'll get hooked into Houdini. Oh, good night. No worries. You can watch the replay if you want. Magnetic. Okay, I'll try and send it to you. No worries. Don't pressure yourself on it. So don't worry about it. If it'd be something, it would be a nice to have. All right. I think I'm just gonna call it. I'm just gonna end off the live stream. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I do apologize for, again, another long live stream. It's going to be really painful for me when I start editing this video. I got to learn to talk faster or get less sidetracked. So thank you all for coming, and all for watching, and all for making it to the end of the live stream. Give yourself a huge pat on the back for that. I do thank you all for showing up and all, and thank you all for your questions too. If you have any more questions, just throw them in the comments, and I'll answer them when I get to it. Well, it was rad hearing from you. Awesome. Thank you. Cool. So I'll see you all the next time. So this is a mini series on lip syncs. We have a lot more content to cover. Gonna combine this with animation. I'm gonna take in the future. If you've seen the teaser video for the lip sync miniseries, so that's just like the tip of the iceberg of some of the topics I'm gonna be covering over the next few weeks. And I'm also thinking of running another mini series in parallel, just because I keep coming up with new and weird ideas, and I just get excited for everything. So that might be coming in parallel with everything. I don't know how I'm gonna fit it into the schedule, but we'll find a way. So thank you all for coming and joining me, and I hope to see you in the next episode as well.